Hello, it's Hans here, Wekking Electric. I want to talk to you about one of our new products that we're launching, and we've sold a few of these already. This is a complete van build kit. So everything is pre-wired for your van when you're building out your own van. And we do this same kind of layout for your cabin or for your tiny home, so to make things real easy for you. So to explain this system, first of all, we have from Renogy a 3000 watt inverter charger. So this will charge your batteries as well as draw from the batteries. And you can hear it humming away here because it was just giving the batteries a quick charge to top them up. Now the next thing we have here is your Renogy solar charge controller. And this is just a 20 amp unit from one of our 310 watt Lungy panels. And over here is your Renogy DC to DC charger. And what this does is when you start your van, it'll start charging your batteries at 20 amps. And yes, this is compatible with lithium. This is compatible with lithium batteries, and this is compatible with lithium batteries. So you can use AGMs, lithiums, or standard lead acid with all these components. So we're going to walk you through right now kind of how this system works. Over here, your battery power comes in, and we run it through a 300 amp fuse. We use a proper 4-aught cable. We have a disconnect switch, and from the disconnect switch, the positive runs over to the positive bus bar. And there's a number of connections in here, but we'll just walk through the inverter first. Then it comes back out here and feeds the inverter. Your negative goes straight from here to your battery. If you want to have the option of having a shunt that measures, gives you exact battery status, if it's charging or discharging, we could put a shunt somewhere here, or cut this shorter, put the shunt right here for you. That's an option if you like that. Renogy makes a really nice 500 amp shunt that will work for you as well. Now, we'll talk about some of the rest of the wiring we've done. This 300 amp fuse protects all this large cable. That's what it's meant for. Fuses protect wires. So it comes in here, goes out here, and this wire is all the same size as this wire here because that's the way it should be done. That fuse protects this size wire. Now, as soon as you go to a smaller gauge wire, like this guy here, you are going to have to protect it with the compatible breaker or fuse. And these are little resettable breakers that we supply on the board. So, and it's all labeled for you. Alternator charging, which is your DC to DC charger. So what happens is we try to keep these connections from the bigger wire to a smaller wire as small as possible, or short as possible, straight into this fuse. So this way, this wire here, once it gets here, it's protected by this. This little part is unprotected, and the unprotected parts you want to keep as short as possible. Same here. We got the DC coming off of here, the positive, and that's going to be used for your charge controller. So again, this is really short, and then it runs into your charge controller. And this is your standard Renogy 20 amp solar charge controller, full MPPT. And there's an option for Bluetooth for these guys too. Okay, and then the last fuse that we have, again, we're trying to keep it shorter, feeds your little fuse panel that we supply. So what this does, if that's all your negative connections and that's all your positive connections on this side. And what you can do here, if you want to add lights or USB plugs or your water pump or any other items to be connected, you connect it to this fuse block. And it's properly fused, and all the fuses come with it, different sizes. So you just have to look at your device, how many amps it draws, and then run it to the appropriate fuse. And then you can label it here as well. Plus it has little LED lights in here to show you which fuse is blown. So that's all your DC components. And of course, we've supplied cables for you for your alternator charging. So what we do is we supply the alternator charging cables here for you with the proper battery terminal rings and everything else. So you just connect this to your starter battery of your vehicle. This here is your trigger wire. What this does, you need to connect this to your ignition. And we even label it for you. It's right here. And it's labeled connect to ignition. So what that does is when you start your vehicle, it will charge your batteries and connect your main vehicle battery to your house batteries. But once you stopped your vehicle, your house battery is disconnected from your starter battery. So this way you won't drain your starter battery when you're charging your batteries, the house batteries. So this way when you want to start your vehicle, even if your house batteries are very low, your vehicle will always start because the starter battery has not been depleted. Okay, that's the way we want to do things. Now the second thing we supply is just your proper solar panel leads, and they all come with MC4 ends on them. So that's this guy and this guy. Those are your proper solar panels. We supply number 10 gauge, and we just have the panel sitting there for the demo, showing that it works. You can see that the charge controller is flashing, thus the solar panel is producing current at the moment. Not a lot because it's in the garage and not in sun. So that's what that's for. Now, after this, we'll start talking about this beast. We call it, the Renogy 3000 watt. We have lots of people asking me, can I get a Renogy 2000 watt, something smaller? The reason we don't carry the 2000 watt, because this is only $100 more. Plus, it takes the full 30 amps. And it's rated for the full 30 amps for your RV. So what we do is we supply you with a proper inlet. Let me just walk around here and I will show you. This end we PreWire for you, and that's your inlet. So you put this into your RV and this will be your short power connection. And then we make up this cord for you depending at extra charge. We make this to the length that you require it, and we just plug this in. Let me get it here, twist it so it's twist lock, and it doesn't come apart. It stays in place. Okay. We just put this piece locks on once you've got this connected to your van. So this piece we just go like this, and then once you do your connections and screw this to your van, this stays tight and stays in place. Now the next thing is I'm going to plug in the Renogy to shore power. This plug's kind of heavy, so it could tendency to fall out. So it'll click back over to shore power here in a second. There it went, the click. So now it's on shore power, and now it will act as a charger and charge your batteries. So what we're going to do for a demo is we're just going to plug in a 1500 watt heat gun, and we're going to start running at the high speed. This is number 2. So that's a 1500 watt heat gun, and right now we're running on shore power. And we want to show you how quickly the Renogy inverter changes over to battery power. So we just got an adapter, a 30 amp adapter to 15 amp adapter. What you do, you can plug this into 30 amp. And what happens is, you'll hear it on the heat gun, you'll see it on the heat gun. We're going to transfer power right now. And we're going to unplug this and see how quickly you can even hear the heat gun change tone because the voltage is slightly higher from the Renogy compared to what we got here in the garage. So here we go, we're going to unplug it. Now we're running on batteries. So now you're running a 1500 watt heat gun directly off the batteries and your solar. And once you go back to shore power, plug it back in. It takes about 4 to 8 seconds for it to transfer back over to shore power, because it wants to check if the sine wave is clean. And here we go, we just switched back over to shore power, and that's how easy it is. So now we're charging the batteries again. The unit's kicked in the fan. It's detected that we've put a load on it, we drain a little bit of the battery, and it automatically starts charging the batteries the second you plug back into shore power. Nothing for you to do here. So this is our kit that we supply. This kit, pre-wired for you, without batteries, costs $29.95, $2,995 plus GST. With 3 lithium batteries from Renogy, this kit will cost you $59.95 because we supply you the battery jumpers and everything else. And this inverter does require 3 lithium batteries. Due to the fact is that to get the full 3,000 watts out of this inverter, you'll need 3 batteries that can supply 100 amps of power current each. So giving us the full 300 amp that this inverter can supply. So again, and just to quickly go over the AC wiring. So your AC wiring comes out through here, goes back into here, goes to a proper sub panel. You always, every time you change, you know, from big wire to small wire, you must have a breaker in between. So that's why there's a sub panel here. And this one here is a spare for the customer, and this one here is for this set of plugs here. And that's your basic AC power. So if you have an RV, this would go to your RV panel, your standard, you know, World Family Company WFCO panel. That's what that would go. And this would be your shore power in from your RV. So, and we label everything nice for you. You know, you got your main disconnect, and you know what every single thing does. And yeah, these kits are very popular, and we do include the brackets for that price for $29.95. We include the screws, we include the cap so you can mount this to your van, and we include one of our Longy 310 watt solar panels, and they're 66.5 inches by 39.5 inches. If you want one of these kits, give us a call. Hans, Wekking Electric. We could be glad to build one of these, or build equivalent of one of these without the DC to DC charger for your cabin. And with more panels, we can do larger charge controller. And you just take this board, screw it to the wall of your cabin, plug in your solar, depending how big your solar is, depending if I have another panel here, a combiner panel. And then we provide you with the grounding if you're in a cabin, because you require grounding. Again, Hans, Wekking Electric. Thank you very much.